Hey, everybody, welcome to Easy Tarot Lessons. We're going to jump right into this today because Mandy is leaving. All right, so what's this I hear about Mandy? All I know is you just said you're going acting.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
that something you're trained for? Okay, I'm just kidding. Of course. Have I been listening to this podcast?
I only do things I get properly trained for. You know me.
So, how long do we have you for, before we have to stop making podcasts, and how long are you gone for?
Right. So hang on. Let me just tell you I start rehearsals on the 19th of August, which is a Monday. So I've got about 4 more weeks of availability after today. And then I'm going to be away till the last I'll be back the last week of October. So I'm gone for about 2 months.
Awesome. So what or who are you leaving us for?
Well, I've been cast in a comedy. So it's touring it's quite a lot of theatres in the space of 2 months. I haven't actually counted, maybe 10 to 12 different venues dotted around the UK. So some of them are up in the north of England, some of them are down in the West Country. I mean, England, obviously, compared to where you live, it feels like a long way to go from the north of England down to Devon, which are the sort of two extremities. But yeah, and some of the venues have booked it for, say one of them has booked like 6 performances over several days, and some of them literally just 2 performances on one day, and then we go off and do it somewhere else.
Sharon, ew, look at me. I'm touring around the country while you two get to sit here and talk about blah, blah, blah.
Talk about missing Mandy.
Yeah, right.
I don't know whether you've heard of the person that wrote the play, because it's an American play, and I've got to do an American.
As it should be.
Yeah, I've got to do an American accent.
Oh no!
I know you're constantly practicing your UK accent, but I'm gonna.
No, it's awesome hearing other people practice, because they always go Texan, right, Sharon?
Yeah.
Well, howdy, pilgrim.
Although, I have to say, Mandy cracked me up really hard because I said, "Hey, y'all," to her one day, and dead word or accent for accent, she turned around and said, "Hey, y'all," just right back to me the same way I was dying.
So, in addition, no, go ahead.
Oh no, I don't think I've ever said "Hey, y'all." But anyway, it's Christopher Durang. Have you heard of him?
No, I'm not that. I'm not that blue blood, well educated. Damn it, Harvard's taking all my time. I can't be cultured.
Not
that
that
kind of an oxymoron, right?
Oh well, the play is called Beyond Therapy, and I think it was. Hang on, when was it first written? It's never ever been on in the UK, or not professionally. But I think it is quite an old play in terms of American. I'm just having a look for the date. I don't know. Hang on. I should have.
Well, the point is that I don't want to turn this into a boring show. I just wanted to say, hey, you've apparently, in addition to being a highly sought after tarot card reader in the UK, reading at fairs and universities and on the market and privately and for churches and whatnot.
And in the Netherlands.
Mandy's, and in the study groups. Yeah. Mandy's quite an accomplished actress, and the presence of royalty. I want to hear your American accent when you come back, though. That'd be awesome, because Sharon, she'll have like 2 months of practice. She'll sound more American than we do.
I know, right?
To be honest, I think I sound like, at the moment, because I've only heard myself say it, I think I sound like Marge Simpson.
You know what?
Okay,
That's a
we got to
winning
hear this.
combination. A lot of people. Well, we'll hear it in a bit, but I want to make sure that we get right into what people tuned in for today.
Yes.
But I did want to give an intro of like why Mandy's going away.
Yeah.
And if you're at all in England or you can take a break, shoot on over and this will be kind of fun. Who knows?
Yeah.
I might just borrow, what is it? I can't even remember his name. Branson's. I might borrow Branson's jet, just fly over and say, hey, I'll
Well,
give you a reading. I'll give you I'll give you a corporate consultation, but you got to fly me over to see Mandy.
I'll tell you what I will do. I will, when we finish the podcast, I will send over a copy of the flyer. And if you want to post it up, feel free.
Yeah, let's do that.
It says where all the venues are and what dates and all that sort of thing. So yes.
You know what? Just to be wacky and silly, let's make that this episode's podcast artwork.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, just swap out the logo. All right.
The funny thing is, the play is called Beyond Therapy, and I do feel a bit like I feel when I'm giving a tarot reading, when I'm saying these lines, as I've been practicing them. I think there's something familiar about this.
See, just another way that tarot can help us. But I want to jump in and I want to help. So, as a payback for everybody listening to all this stuff and not hanging up yet, or whatever they do, let's get right into something we don't normally talk about in all these free lessons. It's something we really talk about in group, in the advanced groups, and we definitely cover these in the post-course lessons. Let's talk about how to give a tarot reading. I mean, you know, we know what the cards mean. We know the importance of shuffling and how to do it, and you know, our intuition and everything. But let's say we're sitting down to give a really good reading, because obviously that's our job. Anybody can say, "Oh, here's how to give a tarot reading," you know. But let's talk about what's it like to get a real reading from a real professional.
Oh.
So first and foremost, I'm not talking about like little 5-minute ones where, you know, you're at a party or something. It's not like 5-minute ones you can't do a good job, but you just can't do it. It's like writing a hike. Well, not a haiku. You might actually spend hours meditating on that. But it's not like bathroom wall poetry, you know, where you just, you know, come up with a limerick. We're talking like maybe not a full-on novel, but a novella. And we're saying, hey, how do you give a good 30 to 60-minute reading, something that really helps your client, makes them jump up and down and go, this is the reason why I came to this person. This makes me happy. I can take this information, add it to what I already know, move forward more educated, make better business decisions. I can profit meaning just do better, not necessarily make money, but I can profit from this. It's a good experience. Now, this is super easy. It's not like it's rocket science, but it does take certain elements that we have to inject. So, before we start about the actual techniques, what are some of the common themes? Like I will throw out, you actually have to genuinely care about your client, or at least have a psychological investment in finding the answer to their situation. That could be, if they're having a problem, you help find solutions for that. If they're just curious about something, you make that question your own. If they're like, well, tell me anything, you really strive to find something interesting. It's got to be accurate. It's got to pertain to them. You know, it's not just like you can throw stuff up. But what I'm saying is, whatever you're reading, whether it's a crisis or not, one of the things that makes a really good reading, and this is why, you know, at the end of the day of tarot readings, we're spent, but you have to emotionally and psychologically, I don't have any food for you, Kat. You have to psychologically and emotionally invest yourself for that short period of time in that reading. Now, in a way, isn't that kind of like what you do on stage when you're thrown into a part or a scene, Mandy?
Completely. Yeah, absolutely. But there is a big difference
Oh,
in
do
that.
tell.
But when you're on stage, you've rehearsed exactly that, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
you know exactly what you're going to say. You know exactly whether you're going to stand up, sit down, pick something up. So the whole thing is very kind of like planned. Doing a tarot reading is different every time. You don't know what the question is going to be, or what cards are going to come up and what the answers are going to be. So, but the concentration level does compare, absolutely.
Let's hold on to that for a moment because you bring up a good point. So let's say that I spent all my time reading a bunch of crappy books because they're out there, and I was convinced that all I have to do is memorize formula. I have to memorize a Kabbalistic or numerological or astrological or Zoroastrian, I mean, kind of Zoroastrians or anybody actually, but I have to memorize some kind of, what is it, Grecian formula? Isn't that like hair dye for men or something? But I have to, the Greek formula, tarot, never mind. Then Greeks didn't have tarot cards. The Egyptians did, right? And other such lies. The thing is that if I'm, because I'm just put on me, if I am of the mind that I need to memorize card meanings and people all over the world fall into this trap, well, then it is like acting because this card comes up. I already know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. It's like become like a machine. I am tarot reading robot 5000. And again, if tarot robot, whatever I just said, if robots could read the tarot, we'd be out of business. But computers suck. Have you guys ever gotten a vending machine tarot card reading or a vending machine astrology reading or software app? They suck. And you go, well, I don't know, maybe that's kind of like, it's like, no, you shouldn't. You and your client, either of you, should have to go, well, maybe that's. So this is a good point. When you say you don't know what's coming up, it's not just you don't know which cards are coming up, and this is a great reason and a great way to break free of that trap to anyone who has fallen into that trap and wants to stop doing it.
Yeah.
When you do readings or when you're doing practice, cards will come up and you cannot, I mean, because it's blind people, but unless you are literally blind, and apologies, you're looking at an image. That image is going to affect you somehow. And that image may affect you completely differently than what your brain is saying. No, you must say this. I've memorized the meaning. So we have to learn to go with our gut, what we're feeling. That doesn't mean, we become what people call themselves. I'm an intuitive reader, which is code for I don't bother studying. I just say whatever comes out of my mouth. We want to be right in the middle, kind of like Buddha. We want to be right in the middle path. We want to have enough rules and understanding of the foundations so we know the parameters. Having done that, that's a platform to like a springboard, which is kind of a platform, but we can jump up and down on it like a trampoline. It's fun. So I've been told. But we want to be able to launch our intuition or a connection to the divine from that place of education. All right, so that went off in a different tangent than I'd anticipated, but I like it because I don't think we can say this enough. We have to keep showing people why and how card memorization is bad. It's okay to know the traditional meanings. It's okay to read a lot of books and get a feel of where you should be. Like, here are the guidelines. Throw me out a card. You don't even have to. Just name a card, Sharon, please.
The Hierophant.
Great. One of my favorite cards, he says. Okay. You know what? Let's make it. Now, I'm not going to dodge that bullet, but give me a minor arcana card, because a lot of people listening to this podcast are confounded by
Six of
by
Cups.
major. Okay, Six of Cups on the minor arcana, or again, don't get caught up in this whole major minor thing. That's just a misnomer. But on the minor arcana, we have people doing things, except in the court cards. This is why people can resonate with those cards so well. The majors are they're all staged, and Waite was trying to be allegorical and pretty much copied what has already been handed down. But that was kind of his job, was to really copy what was handed down. He just put his own stamp on it. All right, Six of Cups. Before Ham, there are no illustrations other than Solobuska deck that kind of, a couple of them she stole from. But most of that stuff, was out of her own imagination, based on the sheet of card meanings allegedly that Waite gave to her. So, Six Cups. Before we get into what that card means, Mandy, I want you, and Sharon, I want you to totally forget what the card means and picture it in your head. We have like a Swiss chalet, maybe a German, it seems that kind of area, Austrian kind of stone building. And we have what may be a flower vendor. Or it could be two children, but somebody seems to be giving a cup of flowers or a vase of flowers, because cups are now vases because they got flowers in them. So one person is giving flowers to another. These could be children. These could be a vendor. They could be old people because that weird hat that they're wearing makes them look older. Oh, plus she's got big oven mittens on.
And can I say something?
Yeah.
Depending on which version of the Rider-Waite deck you've got, like just in terms of the colouring of it, somebody showed me. I mean, it's the same artwork, but the little person that looks like a little girl in my deck has got white hair and really does look like a little old woman as opposed to a little girl.
Isn't it amazing how even not changing the line work, just the colorations, can change everything. So art really does change. And then if that's what you're raised with, I mean, like, because we don't generally jump from deck to deck to deck every day. Generally speaking, people will find a deck, and if they use a deck on a regular basis, they're not just pulling it out once a year or once every couple of months. They're using a deck over and over. They're going to be using the same deck, and so that deck kind of stains their opinion of what each card means. And listen carefully to that again. The deck you use will stain your opinion of what the card means. So if somebody hands you a completely different deck, it's kind of like cartomancy. And I suffered this as a kid. I was like, I'm reading with playing cards because they don't have tarot cards. So I would do the cartomancy and then think back to what the tarot card meaning was and just try to apply that. Like 4 diamonds. Oh, well, that's just the 4 coins. And so imagine if you're doing that with different decks and different artwork, and now you got the juxtaposition of this art. So your brain is being told one thing by the image, but your memory is going, no, it means this. Now that mental stress blocks your intuition.
Yeah.
So point number 2, and then we'll get to the 6 cups in a moment. Point number 2, the more mental stress you have, the less intuition you have. So how to give a great reading? You have to at all times be relaxed and non-defensive. That's not always easy because sometimes people come in and to get all 70s, man, people put out vibes, man. And, if we are receptive, meaning intuitive, then we are receptive to other people's energy or vibe that they're putting off, or whatever you want to call it. I probably should get a better term. But if we are actively, no matter who you are, even if like I don't believe in anything, but and therefore I have incredible sales resistance. But when you, even that person, when you are actively opening or I should say, actually actively engaging your intuition. That's the process by which we open ourselves up to the divine, collective consciousness, larger awareness, what do you want to call it? We're seeking answers. We are now open. We are more mutable and less fixed, if you want to go astrological terminology, because I do at the moment, because it fits. That also opens us to a subconscious, or if you're really good, conscious awareness of what the other person is feeling, thinking, going through, projecting. A lot of it depends on, is the person actually projecting? Because some people really, they can't help but project. They can't keep their own mouths. They can't keep their own minds silent. Shut your damn mouth. Shut your damn mind. It's like, stop, broadcasting your thoughts all over me, because we see this, people with large personalities. They it's like they have an aura. It's like a cloud around them. It's like, oh, here comes my personality. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. We all do that at some point. Some people do it all the time. But when we're receptive, wow, we're really open to it. So the point is, a couple things here. Intuition. We want to engage our intuition. If we're stressed out mentally, because we're using different decks, or we're uncomfortable, or we have an artificial stress facilitator, my nerd voice, annoying nerd voice.
Marvin
We have an
Marsh.
artificial stress facilitator, such as someone else getting in there. It's going to block our intuition. If you block your intuition, you're not giving a good reading. So you got to be open, but at the same time, then we got to be careful not to just, absorb what the other person is putting out. Now, I know you guys want to comment on that, but I do want to fulfill my promise and say Six of Cups. So very quickly, we're just picturing the Six of Cups. What is the artwork? Oh, and then there's the security guide, right? Walking away.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, Mandy, just blam, here's a picture. Oh my God. What does that artwork say to you? And I know it's generic because we aren't putting it in context with a question, but
normally I feel quite good when that I turn over the card and it's that one in the upright position. It
kind
makes
of a pleasant card.
Yeah, it makes me feel quite everything's okay, everything's safe, everything's that I don't feel any threat or edge to it, if that makes that not that.
Okay, so that's like an underlying theme, and this is good. This is what I want to get at is each card will make you feel something. And then, of course, then we'll get deeper and deeper. And then that's when we get into, like, what does this card actually mean in this situation as it pertains to your client or the person you're reading for, and especially related to what they're asking. But way down at the base, how to give a good reading. You flip over a card. Sharon, we go to a museum, and there it is, I don't know, 8 feet tall by 3 feet wide. Blam, here's the Six of Cups. Like, oh, Picasso or Renoir or something. It's like, ew, hi, Sharon, let's play art critics. What the hell does this card mean? Or what does this image speak to you? It's like,
I think I love the Six of Cups because overall it makes me feel like that little boy is being generous to that little girl. For some
okay.
reason when I look at it, it looks like he's giving her that flower, not selling her that flower. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like
He's
that.
being sweet to her.
Okay. I like to say the little bastard is stealing a flower and saying, here, quick, the guy's back is turned. You run out of here. I'll just blame it on you. Yeah, some
That's
random
so
little girl came. I'm such a jerk. So when we're getting, how to give a really good reading, there's a couple of, we got rules around here. Section shelf is mine. That's where I keep my double stepped Oreos. If you don't know that movie quote, you gotta go back and watch old 90s movies. Or was it 87? Whatever. None of that matters. What matters is we do have rules. And the rules are relax, trust your intuition, throw yourself into, like if you do these things, everything's going to be easier, no matter how you read. If we micromanage how you read, it's not going to work. But if we say everything has in common at its base, every good reading has common at its base, even short ones, maybe short ones is even more important. Quick, I got 5 minutes. I got to throw myself into this and go, I can't get a lot, but let's see. What can I get into this? And emotionally, psychologically, we just dive in like we're diving in the water or throwing ourselves into character, which may not be the best analogy.
And can
yes.
I say one thing as well regarding being relaxed? Even before you get to turning over a card and what your intuition says, you really do need to be in a certain state, sort of energy wise, to be able to trust the moment of stopping shuffling, because otherwise you're going to have the wrong cards.
Yes. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I don't this is a personal pet peeve of mine. Oh, look at that alliteration. He says, half jokingly. Over shuffling. It is possible to over shuffle. Now, I normally rail against people, don't under shuffle. I don't just count to 7 and shuffle that many times. It's not there's no numerical formula for shuffling. And there's no voice in your head that says, shuffle this many times. I got a 7. I mean, I had students tell me that, and it has not gone well. It has not gone well.
What I used to do. I used to shuffle 10 times. No joke.
Right? We hear this stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, and you got to cut with your left hand. You got to put it in 3 piles.
Yep, exactly.
This is all formula. Make your client shuffle the cards. Oh yeah, they really know what's going on, right? They're psychic. No. If you absolutely believe that you have to have your client's energy in this, which you don't, just have them hold the cards in their hands while they're talking to you. Have them sit on the cards, have them wipe the cards all over their body. I mean, if that's what you're after, but I'm trying to be absurd because it's not the way it works. It's like you don't go to the mechanic, he hands you wrenches and says, all right, here, well, while you're telling me about what's wrong with your car, because I'm intuitive and the best mechanics are, here, have some wrenches, just juggle, tire iron, whatever. Yeah,
Pick the wrench you think will work the best.
Yes, pick the wrench you think will work the best. Oh, I want the cheapest one. I want this one because it's very tiny, so it means you don't have to do a lot of work. No, I want this giant wrench because that says it's going to cost a lot of money. It's like, no, it just doesn't work like that. And if it did, I promise you, that's what we'd be telling you to do. I've been doing this 4 decades. I'm just trying to save you guys a lot of hassle. And you'll find out one way or another. God, I tell my dad, someday, son, you'll realize I was right. Nope, Dad, still haven't won that fight. You're still not right. So I don't sound like grumpy old man, but doing this a long time. Feel free to do it however you want, but if you follow our advice, you're going to save yourself years of frustration. So throw yourself into it. Relax. Just absorb the card before you do anything. Absorb the card. Sometimes answers will come to you right away. That's actually the whole point. Your best readings, either now or in the future, will be when the card sparks something in your head, your mouth starts talking before your brain can engage.
Yeah. I love that when that happens.
It's the best.
Yeah.
No.
At least when we're reading. Yeah. If I'm not reading when that happens, I get in trouble.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Mouth opens up and words fly out. Like, oh my God, you're wearing that? Hey, nice hat. You get that at the thrift store? Like, woo, who farted? I know, right? I'm not the king of anything, but if I were, it'd be the king of saying dumb things, like on a podcast. So Mandy and Sharon, I really set the table here. I went I hogged the microphone. I really went into this. So you guys know where we want to go. What do you feel, Sharon? What goes into a really good reading? How do we go about it? And you can talk at this point technique, you can talk about fundamentals that you have to have, but let's say that we were in class, because kids, I know this is free, but this is what we do in school. We take care of our clients. I mean, take care of our clients. Of course we do. Take care of our students. No, it wasn't Freudian. I'm just used to saying clients all the time. But yeah, we take care of our students. So we're pretending we're in school. Sharon, we have readers who know the meanings of cards. They know how to know what's appropriate, when it's appropriate to do it, when it's not, and as far as like knowing the meanings of cards, they know a whole bunch of spreads. Uh, they have the mechanics down. Now let's really teach them how to give a good consultation. Given what we've already covered, what do you think? What's missing?
Um, I know you said know the freaking deck you're using. That is so important to me. Cause
Yeah.
yeah, cause I've done this too. So this is firsthand. Get a brand new deck and so excited. Let me do a reading for you. What the
Yay!
hell is this deck saying?
Yeah. But it was so pretty on the shelf.
so so pretty. I did that. In fact, recently I got that Victorian romantic. It's like I gotta use this deck. I was like, luckily it was someone who knew me, and they were like, "Don't worry about it. Just get out your Rider Waite." It's like, know your deck. Know your deck inside out. Just know the images and how they differ from what you're used to. And like you said, don't interpose what you're used to into what you're using. Um,
Yeah.
talk to your client. Don't dig for information, but hey, hello, how are you? How was your day? Get your client comfortable. Because if you're sitting across from somebody that's all stiff and defensive, that you can't help but get stiff and defensive back. It shuts everything down.
Wait. Let's hold on to that for a moment. Let's make now screw off the skeptics. Let's talk common sense. Imagine everything you just said, but we're having a conversation.
Hmm.
If we're having a conversation with anyone, behavioral scientists, psychologists, how to meet people experts, how to win friends experts, they're all going to say the same basic thing. If you're talking or engaging, if you're trying to engage with someone who is stiff and formal and or uptight or you feel like you're talking to a wall, you're gonna have a crappy conversation.
Mm.
So I mean, this applies to a reading because a reading is, let's say, it's an empowered conversation. So at the root of it all, every reading is a conversation. There's a conversation between you and the cards, or I should say you and the gods, divine, whatever. And there's a conversation between you and the person you're reading for. So technically, it's two conversations. And every
Yeah.
conversation is best when both parties are relaxed and want to engage. They want to share information, but they also want to listen. One person can't do all the talking, and one person can't do all the listening. Otherwise, we have problems. So I wanted to play off that, Sharon, because you brought up a really valid point, he says, that we got to engage. We got to engage with people because it's just the right thing to do conversationally. It's like, is this making any sense?
Oh yeah, well, okay, I had that podcast with Will Swan, and one of the things he said that really resonated with me was
Quick
he
answer, quick question. Who's Will Swan? Just in
he's
case
another
people don't know.
student. He's another
All right.
student from Australia, brilliant young man. and he was saying the readers that he had experience with in his past, he would try to say anything, and they'd be, no, 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 don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything. And he was like, Sharon, I felt like I wasn't even part of the reading. The client is part of the reading. The client is the
There's a
whole
reason for the
reason.
reading.
So
Yeah.
you can't make that client feel like they're not involved, even if it's small back and forth. Like I said, you don't want to dig for
I
information.
got one for you. I
Hmm.
got one for you. So I take a girl on a date, and I take her to a big fancy restaurant, and I order for her, and then we go to a ball game, and I make the big giant stadium proposal where I'm on the jumbotron because it's about me. I mean, people do this. So when you think, I just want to put it in a dating analogy to go, how stupid would it be? Sorry, people who do this, to make it all about you impressing someone else.
Mm.
And that's literally what we're doing when we go, oh, no, no, don't tell me anything. You might poison, or dare I say, anything you say, I might say first, therefore I get credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is pervand. This is happens all over the place.
It
So
does.
I keep going, Sharon. You're yes.
And another point with that part, actually listen to what the client is saying. Don't do the yeah, yeah, yeah. Or,
Yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah.
listen to them, because what they say will help you shape the best question for them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times somebody might come in and say, tell me about my career. Yeah, there's a whole lot I could tell you there. What's if you listen, you can figure out specifically what they need to know. Am I going to get a raise? Does my boss hate me? Does my boss love me? Did I screw up yesterday when I set up the wrong display? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but also let's go beyond that. Let's say you do the yeah, 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 and you give them great information, and then they turn around and say, "Well, that wasn't what I was asking. That was
Right.
thanks for wasting 45 minutes of my time, and I'm paying for." I've been there on the receiving end of this, um, where I was getting a reading and more than once, and I get frustrated as a client. I'm like, "Damn it, I'm paying for this, and this isn't what I asked you for."
Mm.
Thanks for all this, but you know, I wanted to know something. I wanted to know about this, and maybe it was my, and see, now I think it's my fault. Maybe it was my fault for not standing up for myself or barging in and saying, no, I want to know about this. But when we go to a reading, at least me, when I go for a reading, and tell me if you guys feel differently, but I like to feel like, okay, I'm going to give my, sorry, I'm not unzipping. I'm playing with my drill pack here. I have to put away a battery. I just realized, man, that might have sounded weird in the background. Um, I give the reader a lot of leeway. I'm like, hey, I'm not here to tell you what to do. Here's what I like to know. And so I guess in a way, I'm kind of waiting for them to ask me. And nobody's trained to get a reading. Like even you two. You go get a reading. There's no protocol. Like sometimes as readers, we want to help that person. Okay, here's what I want to know. Here's this area. I'd like you to stay in this area. I already know all this, so don't waste your time on that. I mean that's because we've been through this. But Sharon,
Hmm.
you've heard my point. What do you think?
I Yeah, definitely. I like to tell my client what to expect, and what they're spending money on, that it
Oh, do
is.
tell.
Well, I let them know that they can ask me just about anything except for health, or you know money as far
Right.
as investings.
Right.
I like to tell them that the better the question, the better the answer, because there's just so much going on. You know, we can pick out general stuff, but nobody wants to know what color underwear their Aunt Petunia has on. We might pick something up like that. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's intuition. It's not under our complete control because we don't have scientific research and schools and formulas and techniques and drugs to help us fine tune it like that. Our intuition will tell us stuff. That's why we have cards to kind of narrow the scope of what we're at, what we're getting information on. So you bring up a good point. Sometimes weird stuff just comes out,
Yeah.
happens to be true, but
But it ain't got
it's
nothing
kind
to
of,
do with nothing.
yeah, it's like, well, hey, thanks, so.
I've actually got a review from a client that's had quite a few readings with me, and
Mhm.
she has actually highlighted that she gets a lot out of the consultation. Just the consultation that I have with her gets her kind of brain going, and her gets her kind of looking at her situation from different angles, even before she knows any of the answers. And she's commented on this in one of my reviews.
Now, this brings up a very important point as far as giving a good reading. Um, you know what? I called a mechanic yesterday because my car's running a little bit hot, and I called a professional mechanic. I didn't realize that until I got on the phone. And then, so instead of like, oh yeah, bring your car in, I said, hey, I got a car, blah blah blah. It's running a little bit hot, and he said, what do you mean? It's like in my head, I was like, what the hell do you mean? Does running a little hot? So I was like, there's this line where it's the H, and then like it's about 80% instead of 50%. And I wasn't this much of a jerk. Well, to him, in my head, I was like, duh. And so, he was like, well, I can't get you until Thursday. It's Tuesday. Yes, it's yesterday. So I was like, I mean, I can do it till Tuesday, but. And he was like, well, we're going to have to recreate the situation. And now dollars signs are going on my head. I'm like, wait, I don't know if it overheats every single time or sometimes, or maybe I should drive it around till it overheats, and then drive it right in and go, haha, meaning Thursday I've got to take time out. And then maybe I'm being a little bit of a tight fist, but, I asked him and he's like, yeah, diagnostic time. And he says, it'll be about an hour of diagnostic time. And I was like, well, okay, well, what's your shop rate? He's like $130 an hour. I'm like, that's a good rate, except for the fact that I might have to pay like $300-400 before if a car's overheating. Sorry, this is Auto Shop with Dusty White. You have a radiator, you have hoses, you have a water pump, and you have a thing called a thermostat. So those are 4 different things. You could have a leaky hose, a busted water pump, busted thermostat, clogged up radiator. Like you really don't know, and it's not like you can turn on the computer and go, oh, computers in cars can do a lot, but this is one of those areas where you really need a good mechanic, because a good mechanic will charge you more, but they'll take less time, which means less billable hours. So even though it's $130, you know what? Maybe he can do it in an hour where somebody else is like, I'm $90 an hour, but it took me about 3 hours to figure out what the hell is going on with this. We had to pull the whole thing out.
Yeah.
The point is that just from his consultation, and I told him, look, if my car keeps doing this, you're the man I want to see, because he just happens to be a man. It wasn't like a sexist comment or anything. Hashtag me too, right? You got to be careful now these days how you say things. So, I hung up on good terms, and you know what? It took me about half an hour, and I realized, hey, that stupid red light that goes bing, oil, oil, oil has been blinking. I
Oh
should
my
check my oil.
God.
Guess how much oil I had? Here's another movie quote: 0.0.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Oops.
Oh.
Now, if you don't have oil, it creates friction, which heats up your engine. Because I already checked, my coolant and my water and everything. I think what happened was about a month ago when I refilled my coolant and water because it was a little low. I didn't check the oil, And so what probably happened is a lot of the oil burned off because the engine was so hot and not having refilled it. So I put in a quart of oil, probably should put in a second one. Instantly, the problem went away. My point after all of that was just like whatever you just said, because I'm totally in my own head today. Sorry. It was the consultation. Mandy. Yeah, Mandy. Mandy,
Yeah.
see, I remember names. It was, I got so much out of the consultation. I probably should go give the guy $50 and just say, hey, you saved me a lot of time. But I'm not saying I probably shouldn't take my car in at some point, but what a numbnuts I am driving a car around with no oil. I'll lock up my engine.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't have gotten to that. I mean, he might have checked it and gone, doesn't have any oil. Hey, it's $130. Thanks. Took an hour of shop time, you know. And a quart of oil, which is, $15 because we got to have a markup. And I'm like, $145. Yay. Oh, wait, what? Oil? 1 quart of oil cost me $145. I could have got it for $6 at Walmart or something.
Yeah.
So this is what we do is just like every other part of life. Now, when we say, psychic reading, astrology reading, but especially, psychic or tarot reading, because it all comes, it's intellectual shorthand to say psychic reading. And technically, we are always using our intuition, so it is something of a psychic reading. But if we're using tarot cards, it's technically a tarot reading. If we're using astrology reading, if we're doing both, or whatever. But when we do our consultation or reading, whether we're using I'm getting a consultation from my lawyer or my doctor, I'm going to engage my brain cells because they're smart and they're going to make me think of things that I would not have thought of otherwise. So I don't think it should be a surprise that our clients do get a lot out of our consultation if we're doing our jobs right. But I would like us to value that time because it's really easy to devalue it and say, I'm only getting paid for the wonderful stuff that comes out of my mouth. I'm only getting paid when I'm actually reading the cards. On the other hand, I don't want to say, yeah, we'll spend 55 minutes talking and then 5. Oh yeah, here's some cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 minutes, and that whole thing was a psychic reading. But even if you're reading, let's say you throw down the cards right away. They walk in, you're like, wait, all right, throwing down your cards. So the cards are out there the entire time. That's crazy. But even so, you may and probably will spend time talking to your client, querent, whatever you want to call it, that is not specifically this card means this card means this, but let's say empowered or intuitive consultation that connects their brain to ideas and facts and circumstances that allows them to see solutions and problems. So they may come up with their own solutions or problems that they could not have come up with without the consultation and information you gave them. Does that mean we took their money illicitly? Absolutely not. It's like my mechanic. Even if I did give him $50, did I end up with the result that I wanted? Absolutely, and I could not have gotten there because I've had a couple of weeks now. Bam! All of a sudden, my eyes were open. Problem solved.
Yeah.
So, Sharon, is this making sense? Does it sound legit?
It absolutely does. Absolutely.
I don't want to steer anyone in the wrong direction, but I want to show you guys.
Yeah.
Whoever's listening.
It is quite on the market, I've got to say.
Yeah.
If I've had this once, I can't tell you how many times I've heard it. But somebody will come up and have a reading, and they're all very happy. And then at the end of the reading, they'll say, I don't know what it was. But I was just walking past today, and I noticed you, and I just felt drawn to come in, and I'm so glad I did.
Yes.
And
yes.
obviously that's some experience they've had, that they just suddenly felt they hadn't left their house thinking I'm going to have a tarot reading, but something kind of like made them feel at this moment I feel I need to go and see her and talk about something that maybe has slightly been bothering them that they hadn't intended to address that day or whatever, but do you know what I'm saying? It was so that was a kind of intuitive thing on their part.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sharon, how many times have you or I've been, because I know I've done it, but how many times have you been driving somewhere, restaurant, retail place, you popped in, no reason to pop in, it just, some idea popped in and you had a really good experience.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, this is what, and again, I want to take all of this out of the context of psychic readings so that we can see that what Mandy's describing is awesome. It's wonderful, but this is how it should be every single time for us and for our clients.
Well,
All we have to do is do these things, really care and do all of our work and all the other stuff we talked about. And whether they voiced it or not at the moment, at least to us, they might tell their friends, we never know. They're going to be thrilled with the result. Yes, ma'am.
one of the
Be very
things that Mandy said a couple of weeks ago, the way she said it really hit me. She was talking about making sure that those clients got your full attention, and making sure whether they got the answer they wanted to hear or not, that they still
yeah.
had a great experience, because it should be all about them.
Yes.
Yeah, she worded it differently. She said it better, but it really struck me.
And sometimes people won't hear what they want to hear. And that's the mark of a great reader. We're not here just to tell them whatever they want to hear. That's the mark of a shyster,
Yeah.
fraud, or scammer. A mark of readers, we will give them the best we can. And we'll give them like clear, unfiltered, unbiased, intuitive information. The cards help us. The cards are a facilitator. Please understand, if you haven't heard me say this before, if you have, oh well, here it comes again. Magic is not in the cards. There's no magic in the cards. There's scraps of paper with ink on them. The magic is in you.
Yeah.
The tarot is just one system. I Ching, tarot, coins, dowsing, palmistry, astrology. It's one technique to channel in or focus or shape and sharpen your intuition, so that given a problem or question, or just even a hey, what's going on, you can reach out to the divine. Lord, baby Jesus, give me answers. It's like, that's easy to say, but when you say, hey, Lord, baby Jesus, give me answers, and you got a tarot deck, blam, you go, and maybe a little practice, of course, you're going to get much better results. It's like a hearing aid. Oh my God, there it is. The tarot is nothing more than a hearing aid. Thank you, folks. I've been here. I'm here all week.
It
What do you
starts
guys think?
out it starts out as one of those tin cans with the string, but the more you
Yeah.
play with it, eventually it becomes a megaphone.
Yeah, right. And then it becomes like the internet. It's a video Skype chat with God. Like, wait, I'm getting visions. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Hey, Sharon, shut up. I'm going to use your voice box. Like, hello, this is God talking. Paul's like, how'd my wife get so smart? Oh, God's gone. Hey, I'm Sharon again. Sorry, that was wrong.
He can tell when I'm being Sharon. He has commented on it. He's like, "You're a lot smarter when you're reading the cards, baby."
Oh no. And you know what? But that's everybody. I want everybody listening. I hope you get that compliment. I hope you get that backhanded compliment. Boy, you're a lot smarter when you're reading cards, because you go, yes, I'm going to add another zero to my hourly rate, because that shows that's all we're trying to do. So all these things we teach you, card meanings and exercises and games and how to give reading, all of this stuff is just designed to get you to that singularity. Ooh, Einstein's singularity. That one point where you just open your mouth and God speaks. Or I don't know. It was like, "Hi, I'm God." What? Oh, turns out it was a chick all the time. Oops. Boy, Catholics are they're going to be kind of surprised, aren't they? It's like, oh no.
That show Good Omens, there are a lot of people really pissed off because God is a woman.
Oh no. Well, you got me onto that stupid Lucifer show. I've watched all the seasons now, and turns out the devil's a good guy. It's like, wait, that doesn't make sense, but it's a funny show. So
It is.
it's kind of black humor, funny, but still. Mandy, help us get this train back on the rails. You're the smart one.
Well,
Hey!
Damn it, train. Oh, she's an Aquarius. What are we supposed to do? You got a Sagittarius and a Leo. Oh.
We'll be all over the place all the
I
time.
know, right? Like Calvin and Hobbes. Whee!
I've
Oh
got
my
to
God, you're
control this
Hobbs.
energy. Yeah.
Yes. So, so if somebody made it through all this, and if they I took notes, they should be a better reader tonight. I mean, just
Yeah.
do the things we say, says the old guy. If you need
I-
authority, there's your authority.
Yeah, I just think though, like to develop your relationship with the gods and with your cards, and to sort of like just really just start to sort of feel so connected, with and trusting of that process. It just becomes a real sort of pleasure. It's the same as anything, like if you were learning to play the piano, it would be very stilted at first, and then you'd become kind of fluent at it. Your fingers just would hit the right notes. Do you know what I mean? Like instinctively.
I know that I've taken piano lessons since I was a kid. No, forgot a lot about it, but the piano didn't change. Matter of fact, I can promise you the piano that I learned to play on is the same piano that people learn to play on these days. So the piano doesn't change. The cards didn't change. The process didn't change. I had to learn dexterity, your fingers, timing, finger pressure. I had to train my ear, had to learn how to read music. In other words, there are things that I had to learn, which, okay, fine, we got rules. This is why our tarot course is at least a year. I mean, you can go longer. We generally have a 2-year program for people who really want to read professionally. Look, you want to bring in $60 to $200 an hour, real money. I'm not saying you can. Be very careful now. I'm going to say specifically, the United States government does not like anyone, in this like, well, you could make lots of money. They do not like us saying you're going to make a lot of money. Give us money and you'll become a millionaire. So I'm being very careful to say these results are not. What is it? These results are not typical. These results may not be your own. And I'm not mocking it by saying it. I'm being very, very clear. I want to put out disclaimers, but I have students out there, and forget my students. Go on and just check out. Get in reading anywhere. $60 an hour to $200 an hour is the going rate. If you go above $200 an hour, you got somebody who's really good or really arrogant. I can't tell until you do it. And I've had a lot of jobs outside of tarot reading and outside of being an author. So outside of being an author, a speaker, a teacher, or a tarot reader, astrologer, bartender, right? Painter. None of these jobs is paid $60 an hour. I'm saying that, and $60 an hour is $1 a minute. That's entry level money. That's McDonald's money. You jump on a psychic hotline, they're going to be charging $2-3 an hour. I mean, $2-3 a minute just to talk to you. That means people are paying $120 to $180 to get a phone reading from a beginner.
Mm.
If you're any good in a high end one, and I can point you to this, $7 a minute. It's $420 an hour, and that's not the most expensive people in the world. But there are agencies that charge this much money. So would you like to make $100, $200, $300 an hour? Yes, get your ass in school. It doesn't have to be our school. Get in some school, but make sure that school will take you where you need to be, and the rest is up to you. Practice, study groups, exercises, games. You got to be doing this stuff. The payoff is insane. And forgetting the fact, some people say, "Oh, I never want to read for anybody else." That's fine. The value of just being able to have real intuition in your own life when it comes to divination, knowing what's coming down the road. Oh my God, there's a cop right around the corner. I better stop speeding. Save myself $400 on a ticket. That right there, that paid for the cost of your education. Manifesting. Oh, Jesus Christ, we're talking about manifesting forever. Whether you come with us or not on this journey, the love of Christ, learn how to read the tarot. It's the best tool for developing your intuition to date. Yes, there's a better tool on the horizon, but it's taking like 25 years so far. It'll be out soon. But it's a great way for developing your intuition, and your intuition is actually a two-way street. There's divination, information in, and there's manifestation, information out. Both of these rely on your intuition. So when we see intuition or we hear it used, it's usually like, "Oh, I felt something." It's always information coming in. But intuition is a gateway. So it's information coming in or it's information going out. Broadcasting something, psychic charisma, commanding the gods, or asking help if you prefer asking. There's different schools of thought, asking or demanding. They both work. It's good to be polite, but it's not like God has I have it on good authority. God does not get butthurt because you say, "I need this right now." You're a son of a bitch. What matters is that you actually go to God. The real sin is trying to do everything yourself. It's like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing, and I don't need any help from the universe." And it's like, that's the sin. So do what you need to do, but go with God. Whatever your singularity, duplicity, multiplicity, polytheism, duotheism, monotheism. And the tarot is a great way to develop your connection with the divine. So everything we're teaching you, everything is to get you to that singularity. That's how you give a good reading. Final thoughts, anybody? Meaning either one of you. Anybody, just call right up. Number is 1-800 Santa Claus. Hey, I wonder if that number's taken.
Well, I just think the more that you, I don't know, what's the word, that you connect with the gods, with your intuition, with like practicing and just doing all the right things, there comes a point where it just all gels, and it's so liberating. It's amazing, and that will happen. You've just kind of got to go through the process to sort of reach that point where you're free to sort of fly with it, really.
And you get out of it what you put into it. I can't say that enough. If you just take the course and never look at a lesson or never go to a group or never practice, forget it. If you actually put some effort into it, actually take the time to learn it, do the lessons, do the practice, nothing's going to stop you.
No.
I want to say that. Hold on one second, Mandy. I just want to jump on Sharon. What she said applies to readings too. You get out of you want to give a good reading, put everything you can into it. If you're half-assing it and you know it, you'll know it. But if you're half-assing it, same thing. And whether you go to school or not, you're going to give a crappy reading. But if you throw everything you can into it, you're going to give a good reading, no matter what your skill level. Please go ahead, Mandy.
Yeah, I was just going to say it actually becomes easier the more you do it.
Oh my God, it's so much easier.
Yeah, yeah. The more you put into it, the easier it actually gets.
Yeah, it gets to the point where you might even go, "Oh my God, this is so easy. I'm bored."
Yeah.
But it really does. It's like tennis, And it's really hard to hit that ball over the net and not have it go and get a little triangle angle and everything. Oh God, I hate tennis. Used to play as a kid. That stupid net. I'd be really good if they took the net out of tennis. I'd be like, I'd get it on the other side every time. Let me let it bounce a few times. Yeah. Just like here, you go ahead and pick out the cards for me,
I think that's
or I'll
called
deal out the cards.
squash.
Squash, squish, squish. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. But there you have it. If you want to give really good readings, and you can change your life. Matter of fact, in the episode description, please put that, Sharon. You can change your life tonight with this episode. If you just listen to this episode, you can double your ability to give a reading if you didn't know this information in advance, or if you did know it and you weren't using it. And this is from people who are doing it. We're out there, we do it, we get paid very good amounts of money to read. So we're not, closet professors. And what do we want? What do we want? Money. Wait, no. What do we want? We want to help other people and gain enlightenment and change the world. And when do we want it? Now.
Yeah.
This is a lousy chant. I'll work on it. Bye, everybody. Hope you had fun.
Bye.